Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to show you 5 useful chord progressions that changed my life. You're going to learn some killer chord writing tactics, and by the end of the video you're going to know how to make 5 amazing chord progressions that you can build some pretty awesome songs around. So if you want to make your chord writing game at least 20% better, stick around for this entire video. Let's jump into it. So when you're writing chords, you're introducing all of the emotion and feeling into your song. So all the chords I'm going to be writing today are in the key signature of C major, which means we're only going to be using the white keys. So for this first chord progression, it's my absolute go-to for cheery and happy songs. So this particular chord progression is a 4, 5, and 6 chord progression, which means it uses the 4th chord of key signature of C, the 5th, and the 6th chord. So we're going to start off on F, and then hit a G, and then A. It's going to look like this, and then we're going to repeat it, just like that. And we're going to take these notes now, because these are our bass notes of the chords, and move them up 5 steps, which is 5 white keys. We're going to take these now and put a note in the middle of each interval and form what's called a triad. And so you see this note here, when we do that, lands on a black key. So we're just going to pull that down to the white key, and same with that one. So I already have some leads written out here, so you can actually hear, like in context, how pretty this chord progression actually is. Something you could do with this chord progression that I think makes it sound a lot better is you take the middle notes and just revoice them by putting them up an octave. And we'll take this down an octave too, just so it's more mid frequency. And these pretty sounds are in my preset pack Orbital, which is in the description below this video. And those are my cheery, happy chords. Let's move on to the next chord progression. For this next chord progression, we're going to hit a more aggressive and serious tone. And the chords that I'm going to be using are the 4th, 2nd, and 6th chords in the key signature of C major. I have a lead ready to go that we're going to harmonize with. And we're going to take this F down here. Let's get down. I'm going to take this note here, which is a D, and then this note down here. I'm actually going to put this one up an octave. And then we're going to do the same formula that we did in the last chords, which is take these. I'm going to put them up an octave first, and then we're going to grab these again, put them up 7 semitones or 5 steps, and then just fill out the middle keys, and any notes that hit a black note when we do that, we're just going to put them on the white note that's closest to it. So these are the chords, but I'm going to revoice them so that they sound just nicer. So I'm going to take this, put it up here, and then I'm going to take this one, this note, and pull it down there, and I'm going to rewrite the bass notes. And then we get this. And you can easily notice how it's far different from the last chord progression in that it's more serious and aggressive. For this next chord progression, I'm going to show you guys how to make the chords fancy and upbeat. We have a nice flashy sound. It sounds like this. And I'm going to start writing the bass notes. And we're going to use chords 6, 5, 4, 2, 3, 4. I need the metronome for this one because it's very dancey. So it's got like a rhythm to it. Okay, so we're going to take our bass notes now, and I'm going to take them an octave up. And now we're going to form the triad by taking these same notes and going 5 steps up. And then I'm going to take the same notes and any note that landed on a black key, I'm just going to put on a white key. Now that sounds good. You can leave them as is, or I'm going to show you now how to fancy them up. And the way we fancy them up is to add the 7th note in the chord. So we add it there. And that's actually not a 7th, but I like to hit this note better. And we're going to hit this note. So we're pretty much adding a layer of notes to the chords, and it's really going to fancy them up. It's really cool. It's really cool. Just follow along. Isn't that gorgeous? I love chords. These next chords are my absolute favorite for chill and uplifting music. Now to build these chords, we're actually going to use a really cool technique that one of the top trance artists in the world, Marcus Schultz, actually showed me. So for these chords, we have to find those 2 notes that you can comfortably play throughout the chord progression. Most chord progressions have 1 or 2 notes that you can play the entire time and they never get old. So for these chords, we're going to take these 2 notes and just run them through like this. And I'm using a very airy pad for this, by the way. It sounds like this. It's like heaven. So once you have your 2 notes written out like this, you can virtually use whichever bass notes you would like to harmonize with these and make them sound pretty. But I'm going to show you the bass notes that I like to use. And just to add to the prettiness of these, I'm going to add a couple notes here, or a single note here, and then just revoice this chord here. And at the end, we'll come up with this. It's so gorgeous. Like, you could do so many things with that. And just watch. I'm going to tweak this knob here. Alright guys, so for this last chord progression, it's my absolute favorite chord progression in the world. I've used it in a lot of my songs, and every time I use it, it just hits that feeling in me that I can't get away from. We're actually going to start this chord off similar to the last chord progression in that it has those 2 notes that travel across the entire progression, which are going to be this note and this note, like this. And then we're going to harmonize with it, with our bass notes. So now we have our bass notes, and I'm going to take these, pull them up an octave. I'm actually going to take this one and pull it 7 semitones up. So these chords are pretty messy. I kind of just made them from scratch and didn't really follow any theory or anything, but they ended up sounding good regardless because I used my ears to make them. So the chords that you're going to end up with in this chord progression is a G sus2, a B minor 7, and then a D sus2, a D second sustain, or whatever, however you say it. And so what these chords sound like in action is this. So there you go, guys. If you enjoyed this video and like to learn more about every element of music production possible, come join me in my EDM bootcamp. I left a link for you to check out at the top of the description below this video. My EDM bootcamp is not just a course that will have you dominating every element of music production, but it's also a back-end mastermind group where you can get unlimited track feedback from me, and the other students in the group, as well as ask me any music production question that you would like. If that sounds like something you're into, like I said, check out the link at the top of the description below, and I'll see you in there, and stay tuned for next video.